In today's Leeds news, Radrizzani congratulations and traumatic exit. Marathe's ambitious comments, out of contract players detail. Marathe on Kinnear and Hammond exit, and Bamford linked to Wrexham again. Morning folks, Chair here at The View on Tuesday morning the 6th of May with your Leeds United news. I hope you're having a good week so far. I hope you enjoyed the scenes around Leeds yesterday as the celebrations were everywhere. Over 150,000 people estimated to have turned up at the parade yesterday. So fantastic to see that. Fantastic for our players to get their very much justified celebrations, and to celebrate it with the fans was massive for them as well. But there's a little bit of news to get stuck into today. I'll give you the news. I'll give you the detail on what I think of it at the end of it, and you can make up your mind as we go through it. But we'll start with a former Leeds United chairman and owner, Andrea Radrizzani, who's been speaking about his exit from Leeds as well as the promotion. And former Leeds United owner and chairman Andrea Radrizzani spoke to Sky Sports yesterday about Leeds' promotion and his exit from the club, which he has described as traumatic. Speaking to Sky Sports, Radrizzani said that as a previous owner, chairman and as a Leeds United fan, he was very happy to see the club was back where it belonged. He also went on to say that it felt like a release for him as well due to his traumatic exit from the club, and he feels that he can finally come back to Leeds United. In discussing his traumatic exit and the promotion, Radrizzani said the following. Personally, I feel I've done 6 years in Leeds, of which 5 years and a half we went very well. I turned around a club that was, well, I wouldn't say a disaster, but it was not hoping for an ambitious time in the Premier League. It was a mid-table team in the Championship, and we had done a great job taking them back, particularly with the appointment of Marcelo Bielsa and the players. We had done a great job to achieve the Premier League, but unfortunately the last 6 months, I think for different reasons, I lost the day-to-day activity with the club. I lost control of the club, and also for other personal reasons I relocated to Milan, and all of this, the consequences, took the club back to the Championship, and it was very traumatic and difficult period of my life, professionally and personally. So I'm very glad now things come back to where they should be. Radrizzani went on to say that he does speak to Parag Marathe from time to time, and they keep in touch around footballing matters and not just Leeds United. But I think Rads is forgetting that the Bielsa appointment was probably the only appointment they actually got right during their ownership, and a lot of the promotion and the success in the first year in the Premier League should probably put down to what the manager had done at the club more so than the ownership, and also some of the reasons around the sentiment towards his exit relate to the fact that he tried to use Elland Road as collateral to buy Sampdoria, a project that he's now also walked away from. And when he was criticised by Leeds United fans about doing that, he described Elland Road as his asset that he can do what he wishes with, which obviously wasn't likely to go down well. So I'm not sure the red carpet will be rolled out just yet for Andrea Radrizzani to return to Leeds United, but I would imagine you will see his face pop up somewhere around Elland Road now that Leeds are back in the big time and back in the limelight. And we'll see how that lands with the supporters when he does finally turn up. But if he ever watches this stuff, I know he is on social media, if he ever wants to come on here and talk to the Leeds United fans directly and answer some very direct questions about his time, I'll give him a fair platform to do so if he wanted to do that. I wouldn't hold my breath. Let's move on. Let's talk about current Leeds United chairman's comments yesterday. And everyone was well oiled and in a very good mood yesterday, as over 150,000 people turned out to celebrate with the Leeds United players' promotion back to the Premier League and being champions again. But Parag Marathe was on the bus and did give his thoughts on next season and the promotion campaign, and he said the following. I hope I never forget this moment, but this is the journey, and this is not the end. We are going to be one of the best clubs in Europe. Marathe said that the last 2 years haven't been easy, and people should realise that, and the work that's gone into getting Leeds back to the Premier League, but he said it was all worth it, and now the plan is in place for Leeds to continue to grow into the future and become one of the best sides in England as well as one of the best sides in Europe as well in the coming years. It's bold, ambitious plans, and hopefully we've heard lots of Leeds owners talk about bringing Leeds back to Europe as well, so we'll take it with a pinch of salt and we'll see what happens. The investment in the summer is going to be the indicator of whether they're serious about this or not. But next season brings its own unique set of challenges for Leeds United to survive and to make themselves an established club towards that have been used an awful lot by the ownership in recent weeks survive and establish, which will need to be the first things. And we'll see how Leeds start up this season next year, but also how they start the transfer window, which opens early this year on the 1st of June. Do Leeds make early moves to get players in for pre-season and get them ready for a strong start to the Premier League next season? We'll know in the next couple of weeks. Anyway, let's move on and talk about some out-of-contract players. And there are several Leeds players who are out of contract come the end of this season. And some of them are youth players like Luca Thomas and Keane Coleman. Others are out on loan like Sam Greenwood. And others are part of the Leeds United first team squad right now, with Junior Firpo, Sam Byram and Joshua Gilavogi all being in that mix. But according to Team Talk this morning, they claim that Sam Byram will unfortunately not be offered a new deal at the club, despite the fact being labelled recently by Simon Grayson as one of Leeds United's unsung heroes this season. And in a year where Sam Byram did manage 36 appearances for Leeds United, 16 of them as starts, and clocked up 1 goal and an assist as well, it looks like it will be his final year at the club. His injury record and history, and more minding of the injuries over this year, have been a constant factor for Leeds to consider, and that looks like maybe one of the reasons why Leeds will move on this summer. But it should be said that Sam Byram cost Leeds nothing to bring back in, has been on a very modest salary for the past 2 years, and has done incredibly well for Leeds whenever he was called upon the last 2 years, and never let this side down. And it's great to see Sam Byram missed out on getting Leeds United back to the Premier League during his prime years under Massimo Cellino when he had to leave the club, to now eventually getting a chance to come back and helping Leeds to get promoted to the Premier League. So we'll get a chance to say thanks to Sam when he does depart, if he does depart in the next few weeks. But well done to Sam on his return to Leeds United and everything that he's done at the club. One of the other areas on the bus yesterday where Ethan Ampadu was pretty vocal and pretty well oiled, I would say, on the bus yesterday, and shared some stuff he probably shouldn't have shared on camera, and one of those was the future of Junior Firpo. While on the microphone, Ampadu appeared to give an indication of where Junior Firpo could be heading next year, and it looks like it could be an exit away from the club. During the sing-song around the bus of Junior Firpo's song, Ethan Ampadu was heard regularly shouting Real Betis over the players, and Junior Firpo at one point turned to him and said, "Please, we cannot record that," which gives an indication that might be where he is heading. However, to balance this out and give the other side of it, Firpo was also filmed on camera saying, "Parag, send me the thing," alluding back to a comment made by Radrizzani the other day about sign the thing, which was about a contract being offered to Junior Firpo. He's clearly asking Parag to send him one. But either way, it does appear more and more likely Junior Firpo will leave the club this summer, as Leeds look at other fullback options coming into the summer. But he's been brilliant for Leeds this year and last year, and arguably a lot of people would say he does deserve another crack at the Premier League. He's talked to himself about that in recent weeks as well. So we'll still not really any clear on Junior Firpo, but it looks if Ampadu's comments are to be read into, and if Firpo is asking him not to record it, maybe there's something in that. The other player is Joshua Gilavogi, and he gave a strong hint that he will be moving away from the club of what was expected. To be fair, he came in to fill a gap from having Ethan Ampadu and Ilya Groove injured for a portion of this season. He did it really, really well. He posted a picture on Instagram with the term about Leeds United being an iconic club, and on the shirt were signatures of all the players in the squad, and the words legend and leader were repeatedly put on the shirt, which shows the level of impact he had behind the scenes in that dressing room when he came on. And you've only got to look at Willie Gnonto's form in the second half of the season and his relationship with Joshua Gilavogi as well, that shows that he did have an impact on a couple of the young players. Move on. Let's talk about Marathe's comments around the exit of Nick Hammond and Angus Kinnear. And as we know, Kinnear and Hammond will head to Everton very soon, and Leeds chairman Parag Marathe has joked that he will hopefully be banning Angus Kinnear from the access to the Ellen Road Stadium at Leeds. And Kinnear has been at Ellen Road since 2017 and has now got 2 Premier League promotions on his CV, as well as 1 Premier League relegation. And Marathe is said to be a big admirer of Nick Hammond and Angus Kinnear, and on both of them he said the following: "Let me clarify one thing. Nick was great, as is Angus, who I'm sad to see leave now. He crosses enemy lines. Hopefully we can shut off his card key access now, but I love this guy. But it wasn't Nick doing everything in a vacuum last season, so that's a little bit of a misnomer to categorise it that way. I know you didn't mean to, but it's a team effort, and probably even more so this season, because we're going from being a big fish in a little pond to being a little fish in a big pond." Yeah, they'll both head off. We've already heard about the restructuring of stuff behind the scenes with Leeds United. There's a lot of people moving to new roles, and a kind of redistribution of the responsibilities of the old CEO role will move to different areas. And Adam Underwood taking a lot of them as part of his role. We'll move on to the final story of today and a potential exit away from Leeds this summer. And Wrexham have won back-to-back promotions in the last 3 seasons and will play their football in the EFL Championship next season. Current strikers Ollie Palmer and Paul Mullen are expected to leave the club at the end of this season, and Stephen Fletcher is also expected to move on with his contract expiring. News today has linked Leeds United number 9 Patrick Bamford with a move to Wrexham for not the first time, and that should be said. Speaking on the Inside Ellen Road podcast about Leeds' situation, Graham Smith said the following: "In my head this summer Bamford leaves. That means Leeds will already be down 1. I would probably be thinking we'll get a 9, keep Pirro, very good finisher, as a sub, and we keep Mateo Joseph to develop." Wrexham wanted Patrick Bamford, rumoured to have wanted Patrick Bamford in the January transfer window, but the issue around his wages at the time became a bit of an issue. Not a huge issue because there's no PSR in League One. There is very much PSR in the Championship, but that could still be an issue. He's rumoured to be earning a 40,000 at the moment, and that's including a 60% pay cut for being in the Championship and out of the Premier League, so that would go up if Leeds get promoted. But Leeds will likely look to move Patrick Bamford on this summer. Wrexham look like that's the kind of club that he'll be attracted to, and they themselves would like to have him on board. And we'll see what happens with Bamford's future. But there are lots of question marks around several players: Max Ferber, Ilan Mill, Patrick Bamford, Joe Gelhardt, Sam Greenwood. There's a few others in there as well that will need to be sorted out in the next coming days, weeks and months as we head into a pre-season that will be very busy for Leeds United, folks. That will be it for me in the news today. Back tonight with a podcast to look back at the weekend and look ahead to the first part of what the summer will bring for Leeds United. I'll see you then. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.